Sup, Cooler? Hello, Tart. Yeah, happy Monday. I'm out of my mind. Out of my mind about Mondays. That doesn't make any sense. Do you not like Mondays? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Doing pretty good. Nice! You've been cooking up a storm, I see. Yeah, have not ordered takeout in a hot minute. That's cool. You just fancied cooking, or? What did he say? He asked me to do something about the dust, but I don't see the graphic for dust. I'm just gonna scroll through here. Smoke. I see. To be honest, I just wanted to get my weight down without trying very hard. Fair enough. And save money. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I know it'll be healthy. I don't know, depends on what kind of takeout you get, but some of it's not very good. I know some of the stuff you like and it's no bad. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty nice. Fine by me. I'd imagine bread meets bread is probably the unhealthiest. I probably would tend to agree. So you have a lot of, well, temaki and stuff will be pretty healthy. There's not really much wrong with that. What else do you have? It's usually burgers, yeah. Was it that Indian you've got next door? But you don't seem to go there very often. What are you working on today? Just a couple of minor updates first graphically, then I'm going to implement the witch. I've only got a tiny bit left of dialogue to work on that. And then probably just do some enemy placements. It's on the docket. There's 3 Indian places, 2 Chinese places, and a chippy within 70 meters of me. Wow. Have you gone to all of them? Do you go to all of them regularly? Looks pretty cool. Don't really like Indian food, but I've been to the other places a bunch, more so when I was younger, but still go occasionally if I can't be arsed making food. It's cool. We've got a shawarma place across the street, that's pretty much the only takeout we'll have locally. Not because we don't like the other places, it's just, it's fine, so why go anywhere else? I think they've been there since before I was born. Nice. That's pretty cool. I've been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares recently, so I'm shocked now when people actually keep restaurants open. It's very bingeable. that would legit put me off food. Yeah, probably. There's some eps, and like I usually watch it when I'm eating as well, not on purpose, but that's when I watch kind of guff like that, is when I make myself lunch. So I'll start it off in the kitchen and then sit down to eat. And when I sit down to eat, that's usually when he gets to the point where he goes into the kitchen to check it out. Hey Whitlock, how you doing? I have to be careful what I watch when I'm eating. I need to make sure it's a show that doesn't have any gross shit. Yeah, it's surprisingly common in all kinds of stuff. It's so weird, like you notice it when you're eating, not otherwise, but there's, you know, like I'm thinking, well, like Archer and Rick and Morty, which we watched recently, they're always throwing up and burping and stuff. Crazy. I don't know why, I guess it's funny. People like bodily functions and stuff. Do we have it? I don't think we have a consumption caster anywhere, that's okay. I trust in myself. Hey Drake, how you doing? Oops, didn't mean to open that. Hey Shrapex, how goes it? And you have no idea the amount of horrible math I've been doing this week. Well, I think you were probably studying, but one of my streams when I was working on the Stomper, I had to do loads of vector math and stuff. Normals and all this kind of thing. I'm not really, it's been a while since I worked with it, but we got there in the end. It was really cool. How are you getting on? When's your test again? It's pretty soon, isn't it? Dang, maybe I could have helped. Well, we got there. It's on Friday. Ooh. Oh yeah, quads. You could make, if you wanted to make disgusted emotes, you would just need to throw vector terms at me. Ever heard of the Gauss-Jordan method of elimination to find an inverse matrix? It's straight up hacks. No, I haven't heard of it. Sounds cool. So we're tying up the witch plotline here. I think it's just I. Wait. Witch 10. Basically, you get like a square matrix, put an identity matrix on the right side, and perform operations on each row until the left side looks like the identity matrix, and the right side is magically the inverse of the starting matrix. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I like it. I approve. Do you think it's easier or harder to teach a blind person vector math? I would assume harder. I don't know much, but just surely just the absence of one sense wouldn't be a help. Certainly doable, because you could, you could, by touch, for instance, you could show what a vector is. Basically adding or subbing multiples of each row until it looks like the identity matrix. There's a lot of magic going on in vectors, I think. Right, so we need to do a thing on 21 or 22? 22. Hey, Bite Man. The way the algorithm was explained in this book was just awful. So a good video of someone explaining light-related terms to a blind person trying to not use visual words is hard, for sure, for sure. Sounds like a lot less work than all the usual inverse calculations. I decided not to bother with determinant stuff. So how you feeling, Tart? You gonna be ready for Friday? I think so. I feel pretty confident about the math part. Awesome. What was I looking for? Three RNI. Thank you for the follow. Don't know why my what's it called? The alert didn't come up. But I noticed you. Alerts. Refresh. Now I'm invisible. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. Alrighty, I'll pause that, I guess. But man, I wish I just attended the class. I hate that I learned this without attending a single lecture. It would have been a really interesting class. Yeah, that's a shame. So is that just because it's too much of a commute, right? You noticed them, Senpai Braj. Exactly. Exactly. So that's all it's about, right? Oh yeah, quest is what I was going for. There you go. Yeah, I was also just super lazy. What? A university student lazy. Right there. fields with. Hey, Protopoly. Don't know what this one should be called. I do think a lot of those quest names are going to probably stay, but some of them should be renamed with a little bit of thought. So I assume that's which 23, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome back, Mr. Tart. Trying to figure out where my between the last frames values are failing on a project that I had not touched for 2 years. Godspeed. It's always fun to try and dissect your own old code. Interpolations with the okay, that makes more sense. Still, not fun. Which about the crystal ball. She seems to have averted the danger. Exchange for services, she has offered to do a deal with the King of Bones. In exchange for a dragon egg, she can get my. Is it though? I always question how I was so stupid. Yeah, well, that's part of the challenge, right? The only thing dumber than you today is you yesterday. Dragon egg. Sister. Back to life. It's this one. I'm just gonna rewrite. We'll just add on to this as well. Are there more? Or which also offered another alternative. If I bring her the spirit of a ghost from the mausoleum of Castle Craventhaw, she will make an exchange with the Howling Plains. Yo, how great is it when you feel like you just got your shit together? It's pretty great, man. It's pretty great. Are you feeling that right now? That makes me happy. Yeah. So let's do if dialog ID is equal to witch22, then if option is equal to so if you've been working on mainly quest stuff recently, yes, that and enemy placements and a couple of bit of enemies as well. Yesterday all my troubles seemed so far away, now I know they're here to stay. Beatles. Who knew they were writing about game development? It's a good song, it is. You've lost control. Reclaim control. I was cleaning my keyboard and bumped the keypad Keycap off the desk. You've literally lost your control key. So I'm gonna warn her, or am I? I'm not. So she should get deleted there. Of course. So that is on page 13. I think explosion would do. Just need to return this as well. Oop. Let's try that. My backspace key was broken on my keyboard at work and my boss asked me about it. I told him, good thing I don't make mistakes. Hell yeah. The click tracker isn't. I thought that would be automatic. That should be NPC scripts dot click. I don't know. Click tracker remove. Listener is self, my ID. Blammo. Alrighty, so that's that, and that's pretty uncomplicated because she's just dead. That's the way that goes. Okay, so a couple of things here that are wrong. If option ID is that or dialogue target is equal to nil, then go for that. Else, if not get quest open status, else if it already is open, well, that will still only show if the narrative hasn't been shown already, so that should be fine. Oh, I accidentally killed her. I didn't mean to do that. Nil is like, no, yes. And hello, David. Hope you're good. Okay, so we didn't intend to kill her. Let's try and avoid that. Although, I want to just check if returning that function changes anything about the error message. I don't think so, because I think it's coming from the dialog controller, but still. No. So here, maybe what we're saying, if we get to which 7, which happens there, then we reset. Yeah, that seems fair enough. So the top 3 games I want to finish next month, also including Bloodborne and my replay of Dark Souls 1. Just in time for Classic World of Warcraft. Wow. How'd you have time for anything else? Close. That should open. Okay. Can't remember the boss's full name, but it's basically a nurse guarding a baby at the top of the tower. I'm on her right now. Whoa, TMI, water retard. TMI. Close to the end. I have no social life. You somehow managed to be in Twitch chat. Like, I know you can do other stuff at the same time, but I honestly don't understand how you find the time. Get quest completed status 5. Then if get quest open status 43, then fail quest 43. Probably do the Underworld as well. Like the area where you get transported to the prison. I didn't do it before I finished the boss in that area, so I can't do it anymore. Stuff like that. Sorry about the sirens. Okay, so I maybe watch like 3 or 4 hours of Twitch a day, and maybe study for like 2 hours tops, play 4 or 5 hours of games a day if I'm lucky right now, and I can bust out music quickly so it doesn't take much time. Yeah, I suppose that adds up to like, what's that, 6 plus 5? It's like up to 11 hours, and then obviously it's stuff just like eating and things like that. So you're supposed to have like, you're supposed to get to like 16. So yeah, I can see that. Makes sense. Streaming game that tomorrow, that's cool. What's on the docket? Yeah, Water Retard is making the soundtrack for Fates of War. Making a 3D survival game, that sounds cool. Water Retard will be into that, I think. Sometimes for games, sometimes I make some sort of dark electro stuff on my own too. It's impossible to do everything in one run though, because there are quests that cancel out other NPC quests. That was silly of the devs to do that. I'm gonna need to get into sound work in the near future. I'm thinking of using Reaper. I was listening to Potion Shop from Zelda for inspiration for writing The Witch. Hey, hello, JavaScript Gold. Right, so what's next? We need to do checks for the egg. Spirit. So what format is this? What do you mean by format? Is it dragon egg? It is I think, yep. Dragon tooth. Dragon egg, yeah. Code style is Lua. If you mean about language. Dev in. Why is stupid Autobrush has got locked out. Yeah, it's Lua. JavaScript Gold. Oh, I need to log back into Autobrush. I'm also thinking it'd be a good idea to get a MIDI keyboard. I'm thinking of getting the Novation Launch Key 49. Sounds impressive. The 49th iteration's gotta be good. Right, how do I do this? Can I do this?
Everything I ever did, I did for her. Now she's gone, but I'm still here.
Recently I've been working on a JS library. It's called Basic.js. Sounds advanced. I'm joking. That's cool. What are you making that for? Connect. I'm remembering the Hypogene jail stuff now. There's another way back. The lantern breaks, but another path leads back. I guess that's connected. Just to simplify code, that's fair enough.
Somebody say my name.
Wow, you remind me of who I used to be. Sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're in a better place now. You're not hijacking chat group, you're alright. Alright, Autobrush is definitely back now. Sometimes if I'm lazy, I even use my laptop keyboard. That's gonna be pretty tough. Right, so we're gonna do that, but only, and it's gonna take us to Witch 24. That's gonna be for Dragon Egg. People say it's a pain to use a 25 key because you have to make the melody and chord separate instead of playing both at the same time, plus they're constantly stopping to change octaves. Well, I was making music in a game jam and while Retard was holding my hand, but you know, basically just clicking on the screen with the mouse. Surely even like laptoping it is better than that, because that was pretty gnarly. So that should just take us to 24. Good. Although we need to have a check there for actually allowing that. If not get quest open status 43 or it really depends what kind of stuff you're making. If I was going to make a big piano piece, I would definitely bust out the 60+ keyboard, but generally I haven't really found any need to use more than 2 octaves at the time to record a melody yet. Oh, we're losing frames? Oh yeah, we're dropping some frames, I think. That's no good. Don't know why. Not really running anything egregious, I don't think. Shut Discord, but I don't know how much that's gonna do. It's fine now, that's cool. Yeah, I'm sitting on about 1,000 dropped frames, so if that all happened at the same time, then that'll be pretty shocking, I think. And then what we're gonna do is when we get to 25, I'm gonna complete quest 43, quest 5, remove quest item drag neg. And I guess we should bring back the sister. How do we do that? Decisions, I don't want to spend money. Who does? So stealing? Yep, stealing. It's like those ads. You wouldn't download a car, like anti-piracy ads. I would definitely download a keyboard if I could. $320.185. Looks like a nice keyboard. Tart. When we all have 3D printers, we'll definitely download a car. Well, it's pretty disappointing what you can make with a 3D printer, I think, anyway, currently. Although that's saying I've made a lot of D&D figures, so for the stuff that you can 3D print, you can do lots of it. Right. So if not, I haven't even opened the quest, that's why. So that would have to be and not the warned bit. Just texting my wife. Excuse me. Okay. So I want to give myself like the egg. And that should now no longer lift us back to that. That's better, okay. Game looks fun, reminds me of Super Nintendo. That's cool. That's definitely positive. So yeah, so here we have restored the sister. He dodged it. That's cool. You son of a ding dong. Come on, get him, sis. The following is kind of like Secret of Mana. Hopefully that's good. Oh, get away from there. Sis, run. Nice. Get that ooze. And get yourself killed. Nope, she's gone. So we'll wrap up the, she can die, but I'll write in a blurb that when you brought her back or any of the other characters that they get linked to you, and you basically use the magic that gives you back to life to bring them back. It'll require a bit of suspension of disbelief, but otherwise, I don't know what a good solution, because otherwise they would just be invulnerable or whatever, and then that would kind of suck. Then you could just use them to cheese things. You could have them get knocked out, I guess. But that doesn't really work either. Have them appear in the void world and stuff, maybe. Oh, so you have to collect them from there? I mean, functionally that's roughly the same, isn't it? And probably that would require you to level up to get them back, which can take quite long in the later stages of the game. There's only so many times you'll level up. But effectively that's what it is. They'll be trapped in the Howling Plains, because that's where you go when you die. But like we spoke about before, Watery Tart, we'll show that the first time that you walk back and you get respawned at the checkpoint, and then we'll just kind of use that as a shorthand for imagine that this happened, but we're not actually going to make you walk through that maze every time. Something like that. That's my idea anyway. More meant that just the first time you get them back. Sweet, then you're Gucci, cool. So yeah, I'll write that out so that you understand what's happening and it doesn't just feel weird. But that's why we made their death animations not them falling down. We made it so that they disintegrate into light and kind of these god particles that we have elsewhere, so that you know roughly that she's not normal dead. What if you have to do something to travel to the Howling Plains and rescue her? Well, that is how you get her back in the first place. So there's three NPCs that you need to rescue. One of them is dead, one of them is standing trial, and one of them has their soul infected by consumption magic. So they have 3 quest lines to get them back. But then once you do get them back, I'm not going to make you like fight for them again. They'll just be like unlocked kind of thing. But yeah, going to the Howling Plains is one of the ways to get her back. Yes. Soul Plains. These are the Howling Plains. Oh, my right button got stuck. But yeah, so I think she should be here. Sister, where are you? There she is. So first time if you get here, she'll just be here and you can just say like, come back with me. And then you're done. Thanks, man. Can I buy the game yet? Unfortunately not. You can wishlist it on Steam if you haven't already. But it's not available for sale. We're going to do a closed beta in a couple of months. And then I'm thinking of, I don't know, I'm thinking of doing a pre-launch on itch before it goes live on Steam. I don't know what I'll call that, if I'll call that a pre-launch or an open beta or whatever it will be, but at that point I'll be able to sell keys on itch. I think that's probably the best ways to do it. My game uses Steam Auth. The multiplayer requires Steam servers. Alright, that's cool. Alright, see you soon, Tart. Yeah, I was gonna ask what you were using it for. Currently, we'll do that. Going to work now, guys. Talk to you later. Right, Protopoly, have an excellent day. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. So write spirit dialogue. We owe her another bit of dialogue, I think. So that's that, and then I think this should be done. So we're not quite finished, but we're close. Is that supposed to be there? I don't think so. Alright, so that's stuff I'm going to do off stream. So we're going to look at Rock Desert enemies. So what do we have in the Rock Desert? Pretty normal units, I think. Nothing crazy. Definitely some skeletons near the witch's hut, I think, or on the way at least. Some spirits as well. So roughly speaking, we'll say that these maps perhaps should be skeletal and these ones should be normal troops. It's a pretty small area relatively, so I think we can be pretty harsh. So open the enemy's template. Map, so we've got skeleton, clock. What did we want? The 2 archers. I don't think there's a need for a green archer then if we've got normal ones. It's not like they're going to be camouflaged. So we said knight and dwarf. Just shift games ready. Just get it out there. I wish, man. It's not the Metal Knight. We have Everclock. The mage, Mega Knight, Mage Knight, Warrior Mage, yeah, that should do it. That's what, 8. Missing Dwarf Horns and Spirit, I think. Teleporter and Dwarf Horns. What's the price going to be like? Whenever someone asks me, I ask them first, what do you think it should be? I'll tell you what I think, but I want you to say first. That way I get a little bit of a survey. 2025, that's cool. I have mostly been thinking of $15, but I was trying to convince myself to go up to 20, just because of how many of the copies you sell are going to be discounted. I want to have some space downwards. So that's cool that you think 2025 is reasonable. I haven't seen how many quests / content there is, but I'm going to say $15, mainly because I'm cheap and dog. So that's alright, Jin. That's cool, and hello. So 20 and ship it. Alright, let's go for it. No, that's good. That's good. 20 would be nice. I don't want to hurt sales by putting it up too high, but I also know that I'm not going to have a ton of sales, so the people that do buy it, I want them to pay for it fairly. How long do you think gameplay is? I'm not going to know like for sure until we are in the beta stage, but I'm thinking, so people often say like 4 hours is like a limit for a really short game or not, but I think way over 4 hours. I think probably between 5 and like 10, but it's so hard to guess, honestly. Yep, you'll end up selling most on sale, so you'll get 15. Yeah, so I'm being aware of that. I want to, you know, if I end up going for 20, then I could be more generous in sales maybe, but I don't know. I guess people have tried that kind of stuff already. I don't want to like trick anyone, so. But I want to find a fair price that works for me and the people that play it. I think $20. 2D pixel platformers that don't have nearly the story complexity sell for $20. That's cool. That's really encouraging. That would like be a big deal for me if I could go for a $20 price tag. That'd be nice. So I appreciate the feedback, guys. I understand you're saying that it depends on playtime and stuff, so let's see about that. It's tough though, because it'd be really easy to increase playtime just by chucking in more grinding, but nobody likes that. Some people like that, but most people don't. So I don't want to do that. So hopefully there's just enough content to take the time. I'm back, but in a waiting room. Wait, what? We're in a waiting room. Just at the doctor. I thought it was like unscheduled, like you're in trouble somehow. I was like, what is going on? Yeah, Tart, I don't know if you missed the chat, but people were talking about price, and $20 is getting some support, which is pretty cool. That would be good for both of us. We were talking about price, yeah. Did you ask how much the soundtrack should be? I didn't. What do you guys think the soundtrack should cost? So how many tracks do we have so far? We can assume that the tracks are really good. That's already a given. Where is this? Right, I need to open that tab. It's over an hour long. With over 40 tracks so far. It's probably a tougher thing to answer because it depends probably on if you're the type of person that ever buys a game soundtrack. Some people probably don't. So less experience in assessing the price. Right, so Rock Desert 2 is a pretty balling map. I'm feeling it. So it's like a weird kind of temple structure. 99 cents. Yeah, you don't, I mean, that makes sense. If you're like cost sensitive, then it would make sense not to buy game soundtracks because pricey, you know? I read more reviews of the Akai. Apparently the keys are pretty cheap and tend to snap off, and the other keys aren't sensitive enough. That's a shame. So this one needs a reward. Even if it was free, I wouldn't take it because I'd never listen outside the game. Alright, Water Tart, don't listen to that. That's just one person. Don't freak out. Yeah, I know, Jin. We've just been talking a lot with Tart about how to price the soundtrack, so I just didn't want him to freak out about it. Who needs an MP3 player? I just take my computer with me and launch the games when I want to hear the music on the go. I've really been enjoying listening to the Fates of War soundtrack on my phone when I've been walking to the gym and stuff. That said, I'm also probably not the guy that would buy a game soundtrack. If it was a bundle and it was reasonably priced, perhaps. Got Rock Host 2 also. So how does this map work? To be honest, I'd be surprised if 3% of people buy it. I mean, yeah. We'll have to figure something out because it's a really good soundtrack and you put a lot of work into it. So we're in there and then we're on there. Okay. Wait, 1 and 2. It's too hot. It's pretty hot. Like, I'm pretty warm. But it's weird. It was like really stormy last night. Desert 2. This one's pretty cool. I'll hide that so you can actually see what's going on. So in Desert 2, you do need to go. How do you go? You go just go around it, to be honest. Scary emote. It's very angry. Breach. I'm in South Texas and it's lava. It's probably nothing on South Texas. Let's be fair. I don't even want to compare. So it's Glasgow weather. I have to look for the Fahrenheit. 74 degrees, right? Texas weather. I don't know what city in South Texas. Well, Hamrick looks alright, but I don't know where that is. South Texas. What's in South Texas? Dallas, right? Dallas weather. It doesn't look too bad. Can't see what it says in Fahrenheit though. Florida man here. I'm a lizard and I thrive in lava. It's the Florida man. We play the game of life on Sandbox. I just love the way, like, I think newspapers lean into it now. Whitlock, thank you very much for the 20 bits. Let's get hyped about that. Got a little Frankerzy and some Seems Good in there. But yeah, it's just funny. Florida man. Did you see the Area 51 Florida man meme? I did not. Link it when I get home. Cool. So what do we have? We've got. Still don't really know what I'm feeling like here. We've got dwarves and stuff. Dwarves are kind of on their own. It's got the desert maps here. They could be militarized in the coasts. 1 and 2. That was a meme. I thought they finally caught on and were making a documentary. So I'm a bit out of the loop on Area 51. As far as I understand, is a meme where people saying they're going to storm it. Like if enough people run at Area 51, they can't do anything. Is that the meme? And it's basically, I guess, caught momentum. When's it going to happen? Because I can't wait to see all these like people Naruto running into Area 51. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Pretty much? Nice. There are cat girls in Area 51. We want our cat girls. Yeah, you gotta free the cat girls. Sup, Slater. They will get shot, probably. But that's just even lolsier. The anime waifus are being held in Area 51. We must save them. I think you got it. Cat girls is a good cause. The cat girls will get shot. No, not the cat girls. Florida man can handle a few bullets, let's be real. Yeah, he's high on meth and bath salts. What does your shirt say, Braj? It says Tesnas Devilb Ein Rofilak Selegna Sol. Hey, don't knock our lifestyle treat. I wasn't knocking it. I was in support. No, this is Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. Most generic t-shirt in the world. I think if all the YouTube influencers stormed Area 51, you could say there are finally aliens there now, at least. Heard Florida man just breathes in pure CO2. How do you pronounce Braj? Braj. Braj. Braj works as well, to be honest. Most of them works. LA is overrated, fight me. I wouldn't know, never been. Sounds like just... Sounds a bit, like, annoying. They have to drive everywhere. I don't know why I'm like that. Why I'm beefing on that in particular, but here we are. So what if we like seasoning our steak dinner with little bath salts? It just heightens the flavor, right? Right. What works here? Does oil work? I think oil would work. We could set up some oil traps. That would be pretty cool. Hatchet Hawk 14, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. Do you drive, Top Brash? I do. I don't particularly like it, but I do. Yeah, let's see if that's working. It doesn't look like it's working. Why do you know work? The sound worked, but I guess the alert doesn't want to. Alright. How come? Do you drive a Saab, Braj? Unfortunately not. I wish though. He drives us crazy is what he does. I'm gonna take that as a good thing, Krug. I actually need a chauffeur. But that would mean you'd have to meet me in real life. I'm not sure you could handle. Braj, you drive a mid-80s Skoda. I don't, but that sounds good. Only if I can put the tinted windows in the front of the limo in the back. Are you gonna make out with someone in the back? I drive an alligator. Cameras in the back, live stream, hell yeah. I'm a high class guy, I don't make out. You salivally exchange, I guess. Shooting TNA at each other. One T-winch, my pal, as they say over here. I've never had that said unironically. And that's not just a self-deprecating thing as in nobody's ever propositioned me. I've just never heard it uttered to anyone, by anyone. Braj gets propositioned the minute he steps outside due to his impossibly good looks. It's why Mrs. Braj keeps him in the basement, forced to work on this game forever. Yeah, that's why I'm never going to ship it, because I'm not allowed to. You guys are onto us. Sirens we occasionally hear are the police closing in, but they never find them. Actually, it's an effort to try and triangulate my location by playing sounds,
people watching the stream then try to listen in to see if they can discern my location based on the noise of the sirens. However, the stream delay makes it impossible to do so. The whole parking lot double park issue is just a ruse to keep Brash from driving away. Yeah, all the neighbors are pitching in to keep me trapped. I'd say Rock Desert 2 needs our word as well. Music is so sad. Don't get sad just because the music's sad. Everything's gonna be okay. Can't help it. Leave this man's fifis alone. This man's got fifis. These guys shouldn't be here. What we do instead is do this. Maybe chuck some gas sacks in there, although maybe not there because then you could drift them across. Yeah, it's not the right area for them. We Gucci dudes. Clean bill of health. Healthy heart. That's good. I didn't know we were concerned about that, but I'm glad we're not anymore. What about the head though? Let's not talk about the head. If you know what I'm saying. Anyone else here love Gucci Mane? I don't know what or whomst that is, unfortunately. Slater does not love Gucci Mane. So coast 3, 4, and 5. Stop hating on Flash. You're making me sad. That's hurting my fifis. Can't be having this disrespect. Are they all? Oh no, that's not working. Yes, they are all. Don't touch the fifis. Anyway, what are you doing, Braj? I'm placing enemies on these maps. He's silent farting. Not even silent, I just got a good noise gate. Just catches them. So I'll be like, I'll speak to you guys. And then I'll have a little break mid-sentence. And what you don't know is I've just been letting them rip. I like to pretend that you guys can smell it. What? That's not what I wanted to do. Delete forever. You can fart and tell really stinky jokes at the same time. So kind of by the power of very descriptive language, or what you're implying is just really bad jokes, but maybe, yeah, maybe if I used really colorful language, I could convey the intended effect. Does that anyway? There we go. There you go. Drake showing us how it's done. Cross-media farting, yeah. We're doing VR, but one step further. We're gonna have nosmic sensors. Is that a thing? I don't know. It is now. True writer indeed. Just stinking people out with my writing. So we're gonna put a little reward probably down there. Hey Jeremy, how you doing? Good to see you. Not too bad, still waking up, that's cool. In some ways, so am I. But in other, more real ways, I'm already awake. and say that we are truly awake. I think they can say it. We could sue them for libel and defamation and slander and tort and all other made up legal things you could think of. Is it true? That's another question altogether. Nothing has to be true, you just need to convince a judge that it probably is. Exactly. Top Raj, accountant, game developer, philosopher, and lawyer. Hey Tangent Turner, how you doing? Let's check out this bad boy. Oh, excuse me. Doing good. What you up today? What you up to today? Right now, I've been working on placing enemies in this rock desert biome. It's going pretty well, I think. I do like the oil and stuff. That might be pretty cool. Let's see if I can get anything going here. So you can create like a wall of fire. Oh, jeez, unspotted. Right, so the archers have pretty good line of sight, I'd say. Get in here, fellas. Don't mind me. I'm feeling it, but he's not dead. He is now. They're pretty stupid. I wonder if I should make it so enemies don't just walk into the flames. Because that feels pretty cheesy. I could just draw them to me. Goodness me, I'm in trouble here. In fact, it's very cheesy, and that guy, it works perfectly on him because he just refuses to, because he doesn't go through it, he'll just go dodge out of it. So yeah, unfortunately that's something I'll need to do. An avoidance of fire, like Tangent's saying, or the fire could burn out because it's a bit OP that it just stays there forever. I do think that's a bit crazy good. You worried about performance? Yes, because it's not very optimized at all. So I am worried. Have you tested it on some weaker laptops recently? Not super recently, but I haven't added anything that should break it. So it runs fine, even on weaker laptops. So, you know, this shouldn't require lots of, you know, graphics and stuff, but I run it on my laptop, which has, it does have a dedicated GPU, but because of some compatibility issues, I end up just using the integrated graphics. And it runs absolutely fine on that, even though optimization isn't that good. So that's good. Yeah, the teleporters and stuff needs to. It shouldn't. I know it does. That's why I say it shouldn't, basically. Negative Steam reviews incoming. Yup. But no, I think it runs okay. I had some ideas for improving the performance, but it hasn't really worked, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what to do about it to fix it. So like, I was hoping that if I just pre-rendered the ground, that would be good, but in practice it looks a bit weird. I don't know if you guys can see this on stream, but if I zoom in on this, I think that's like, yeah, that's like max zoom. If you look at this, the ground is a bit blurrier than the normal pixel or the normal like foreground objects, and also it doesn't move with the other environment, so it's just not good, unfortunately. Otherwise I think it would be a good idea to do that, but it just looks a bit funny. To be honest, I've kind of gotten used to it on this map, but it does look a bit weird, so unfortunately. There are frame rate dips, but nothing breaks or crashes, which is good for a non-optimized stage. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, there are some things I could do to optimize, but I don't really know. There's some stuff I've seen people doing that is just like, that would require me to rewrite the whole bloody engine. I don't know if I can do that, but there's certainly, I can go through the code and spot some minor things to tweak here and there, but I don't know if I'll be able to get lots. My brand new computer from Walmart that cost me like a whole $50 and has like a Carlton Atom processor from only 7 years ago can't run your game. Such a crappy designed game. Learn to optimize, dude. Exactly. Wonder if you can get that review deleted if the minimum system requirement says works on crisis ready computers or something. Yeah, I put pretty low system requirements, but maybe I should bump them up. Was it under promise and over deliver? There are seams in the floor tiles too. What do you mean seams? You mean that you can see the repetition? Are there not in normal? This will be normal rendering here. You can still see, if I'm understanding you right. Do you not get the bug where there are black lines and floor tiles to render sometimes? Yes, I do. Why does the character jiggle when you stop moving? So that's to do with the camera, I think. Both of those. So I think, first of all, Tart, I think the seams are to do with floating point errors. I jiggle every time I stop moving too. So I didn't even know this, but apparently, so basically it should happen the further east you go on a given map, especially on a big map. I think that's the only thing I can think of, is that basically the numbers start getting funny. But yeah, so the character jiggles because the camera doesn't move in discrete pixels. So as the camera slows down, it gets the appearance of jiggling. So I should be getting loads of those air lines that Water Guitar is talking about. Can't really see them just now. That's weird. Definitely on this house, I know I should be getting them. Oh, there was some. There's that brief flash. Oh, there you go. I got some there. And honestly, I don't really know what to do about that. Okay, the positions of everything be set to integers at some late point in the code. Might clean up the blurred floor if it's on a sub-pixel too. Hey, Bud Pico. Well, the positions of the tiles are integers. And I have tried forcing the camera to be an integer, but it doesn't work. And if it is, there's a bit of sub-pixel shimmer too when things move slowly. Yeah. So I suspect that if I force the camera to be integer and the floor tiles are integers too, and I still get that problem, the only thing I can think of, and that's just because I saw that somewhere discussed in a forum thread, is floating point precision. Because like it won't be much, but probably enough to mess up pixel graphics. I wonder if there's a way you can bake your floor tiles to a large texture. Well, that's what I've done here, but it doesn't look good because the floor tiles, because I'm rendering them using the GUI system in default, which is different to the sprite system, and I don't know why it makes it look different. I would have to change the GUI somehow. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. That's the problem, I don't really, it's a bit over my head. I've done, how does sprites get rendered? Wait, why don't we look into this just now? The sprites, what kind of material do they have? Like the floor tiles. Tile spawners. So a ground tile. Sprite. So that's rendered using just a regular sprite material. So it has these, yeah, basically this is like shader stuff, I guess, and I just don't understand what I'm looking at. So it's got a vertex program and a fragment program, neither of which I know what that means. It's not opening properly. Can I just open it in default? Does that just open a blank Visual Studio? Yeah, it does. Some things are blurred, there might be some kind of filtering enabled. Yeah, well, so the GUI is rendered totally differently than the rest of the game. Let's just see, map PNG. So this is what I'm using here. So this GUI material is, I've created a custom material for it already. But basically it's using the built-in GUI vertex and fragment program. So that's got, there's a fragment constant, I don't even know what that is. That's tint, which is probably not relevant. Otherwise, view proj is identical. Samplers, none and none. Tags, tile, and ground PNG. Vertex space is world. So presumably it's the contents of these two that are different. So we would have to take the built-ins. Actually, I'm just going to take a very quick break and I'll be back and we'll have a look at this. Right, let's take a look at this. So the built-ins, we've got materials. So we've got GUI, FP and VP, and we've got Sprite, FP and VP. I'm just gonna copy these in. I think there is already materials folder here probably. So we've got Sprite, GUI top, right? So we're just gonna say, copy this in. Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna say I'll just GUI ground because I might actually end up using these if we get somewhere. Are there bake settings for the sprite textures? I do not believe so. I'll open sprite. So the sprite properties, all you've got is, I don't know if you can see all this. I think you can. So it's got the image, default animation material, and blend mode. So it's not in here, and then it's in the sprite material. I think that's all you got there. So it'll be these. Where are we here? What is this in? This is in not in Lua anymore. This is something else. It'll be some kind of. I've had this before. It'd just be nice to turn on the whatever auto completion is. Do you know what language that is, Tart? Just so I could set it up in Visual Studio. So that's fragment versus fragment. Can I just split this? Split, right. Seems to be GL. That does ring a bell, so let me set that. Is that not? Guess we don't have that. Doesn't look like it. OpenGL. Doesn't have that either. Oh well, we'll be fine. Just live with it. So that is sprite.fp on the left. Can I shut this? Hide. There we go. So that's shader IntelliSense is usually downloaded to. Yeah, well, I guess it's not much here. So this is, so they are different. I have no idea what we're looking at, but they're not the same. So something is different. It's got to do with that tint thing, which I don't know if that's, yeah, this is basically how you're baking the tiles to one big texture. So I am loading using Lua input output, I think it's called IO. Let me show you. Actual loading is pretty simple. So I create a texture. So I'm applying this tint to the overall color of the pixel, right? So I basically open the PNG on this line, and then there's a bit of magic happening, and I create a GUI node, and then I apply the newly loaded texture to that node. So in effect, it's the same. It'll be identical to any of my HUD stuff, like say the inventory, for instance. So when you go into the inventory GUI, we've got the background, for instance, and that's just got texture set. The only difference being that for the ground, I then move it so that it tracks the camera. Are those magic numbers rounding? Wait, what? Oh yeah, this isn't finalized, but it is -4. That was to align it. That does look nuts. What are you looking for? The fragment? There's the vertex as well that we haven't looked at. So this is split, right? So maybe check to see if the GUI class or image has a filtering variable. Right, give me 1 second. We'll just take a look at the vertex as well. I don't know what is the vertex. Is it even relevant? Maybe not. But GUI ground vertex positions are in world space. Okay, that seems interesting. So the GUI does something with color here? I don't understand what it's doing. It's multiplying alpha. Vertex shaders really just align the vertex from model space to view space. So you don't think this is relevant at all? So you're asking about the GUI. Not convinced, but reference. GL position is describing the vector's 3 position in world space and passing it to the fragment shader. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm looking for, but So when we have new texture, I don't know if that allows us. It's got type, constant, RGB, RGBA, and luminance. Other than that, doesn't seem to take any specific information. What else? I don't remember seeing anything about filters or anything like that. I don't know if this is the right page for you, to be fair. Maybe it's in the render. Blending function, color mask, cull face. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know half of this. Hey, Retro Thunder One. What am I doing? I don't even know. I'm just looking at rendering and stuff like that, which is a bit over my head. I'm just trying to understand if there's any way I could make dynamically loaded pre-baked sprites look better. I'm not convinced. Basically, the way this currently works is that these ground tiles are rendered individually, which is probably quite expensive. And I figured out a way to dynamically load a pre-baked image file like this, where the ground tiles are pre-rendered, but it looks weird because they are more blurry, more smoothed than this stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, sure, there's an option in Game Project to do with this subpixels. I turn that on. I don't know what that does. Allow sprites to appear unaligned with respect to. If I untick that, what happens then? Who knows? Probably disaster. Right, so it gets very choppy. I wonder if that fixes the. It probably fixes the issues we have in terms of the, what do we call them? The lines in between tiles, but it just looks tremendously choppy, which isn't really acceptable either. And it doesn't even fix the issue, so forget about it. I was just looking, Tart, just curious. Do not need that many draw calls. Can you use the same script you're using in the other tile set, the ones that look aligned? Well, no, because in order to load that texture dynamically, I have to leverage the GUI system, which in default is different to the game system, unfortunately. I can't see anything in GUI that would affect it, no. Here, the GUI related settings are just max count, particle effects count, and particle count, so that's useless as well. And this is just very specific stuff, so track CPU. Engineer I'm using default. Not that. Is it only blurry with pre-rendered ground? Yes. If I switch it to not doing that, then it looks fine. Using GameMaker Studio might look into it. Cool. Well, I'm here if you have any questions. Except about pre-rendering backgrounds. I won't be any help then. Texture profiles. Perhaps a different shader is being used at the point the ground is being rendered. Yes, I think it is, because it's using the GUI rendering, which is totally separate from the rest of the game. So that is probably the case. How to fix that, or even understand what part of that is the problem, that's where we're stuck. Is there a way to see the actual texture as a PNG? I don't understand your question. So like you've baked them, you're baking in the editor, right? Don't know what that means. So the ground, yeah, so the ground is made, yes, if that's what you're saying. Basically export a big old nasty PNG file. Check you using your fancy educated words. So yeah, it's basically like this. Which, so you can see it's not blurry here. I did check that. So I export it and then I have it in just in a folder here. It's got the PNG there. It's really helpful to know. Cool, I'm helping. Can I see how you load it again? Yes, sir. Here, what's this? So the ID just fills in the map name. What does the ground node do? Just map it to the tile position. Right, so I set it. Yeah, basically I just place the node, and align it. This is what these magic numbers come in. I just align it as closely as possible to where they would be rendered otherwise. Do I still do that for the snow? It's actually easier to see there. Yeah, I think I do. And then I think because where I place it in the render script, this is a little, so I render this, maybe you might be stretching it through the node. Yeah, because it has, how big is the texture? The one we've been looking at most is pretty big. 4,000 by 2,000. I'm not changing the value of the width or height anywhere. So you think it's not a GUI thing, that you think, yeah. Did I set any? So we can set the way that that's. I think I looked into that already. Maybe I just didn't do it right. So in GUI, I think by default, set size mode. No, it's, well, how do we do that again? So we basically print GUI.get size, get node. No, we basically just do self ground node. So self ground node. So that should be 4K by 2K if it's done right. So that's printing 4000 by 2000. Although I think you might be onto something. Do you see how it's getting worse as I scale the window down? I think so. That gate is like totally misaligned with that ground tile. It still is, so I'm making shit up. Damn it! I thought I had something there. Inventory setting on the canvas. It's like almost at the middle. Still almost at the middle. Yeah, I thought I was onto something there, but it looks like that's just the way it is. I do some map spawner script. I'm gonna disable it for now and just see what it's supposed to look like. In full screen probably, because that's easiest. Right, so it's erroring out a little bit, but that's okay. Right, so it's supposed to sit on that line. So, which it wasn't, it was near but not exact. So it makes me think that it is being like slightly stretched, oddly enough. Like that is quite noticeable. You can see like there it's straight on the line, this is slightly off, not massively but enough. And certainly enough to make it blurry. It's being stretched somehow. So there's a couple of size modes for GUI things, but I don't know. It's not a size mode, it's whatever the stretch is. Adjust, fit, stretch, and zoom. Just gonna be like set adjust mode or something. Yeah, set adjust mode. I think the default is fit, but I'm not sure. In the inventory, no, that's not gonna do anything. Anyway, let's just check. And that's what adjust GUI.adjust fit zoom stretch. (2D), am I right? Sure, do you not have like the same issues in 3D but like another dimension, or is it actually simpler? I would assume surely it's just another dimension of difficulty. So I think this looks identical, and I assume fit is the default mode. So that's alright. There are different issues when, like lighting and stuff. I know you can do that for 2D stuff anyway, but yeah. Still blurry. Properly lit textures, seams and shadow maps, etc. Still blurry. It's a shame. I mean, it's just slotted in to the middle of my render script. No doubt that it's pretty painful for it. Sets it for game rendering, world space. Draw the ground PNG. Yeah. The answer is I just don't really know. I don't really know. Is there a max texture size? I wonder if the image is slightly larger than the max and it's going wonky. I think Bud Pico, it's a good idea, but I've tried it on a smaller map as well and it doesn't seem to be the issue there. Blaketh, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome, how are you doing? Those viewport calculations, did you do those? I feel like I'm gonna be in trouble. Yes, I did. Did you always have that beard? No. No, I mean yes. I was born, I had a big old nasty beard, and they were gonna put me in the forest, but my mother took mercy on me. What was I gonna check? Oh yeah, I was gonna show. No worries, I'm just wondering if that might be part of the issue. It might be, not because they're wrong, I think, but because of some unintended interaction with the GUI system or something. But I would say that they have been. I have worked a lot on those viewport calculations, like tearing my hair out, and I got there, and like they're working for the world and everything. So I'm confident in that, but I think what you're getting at is that maybe something in there isn't working with the way I'm trying to render this ground stuff. Oh, but yeah, I was going to show so this map, I believe, it is also rendered the same way. So this, as you can see, you can always almost see this. There's no way that this is the texture limit, right? And we do have the same issue, I believe. It's just a bit harder to tell here, but it does look blurry. And it does move out of step with the rest of the world, unfortunately. But yeah, Nimai, I am well, and I hope you're well too. It's not the end of the world, but like, it would be. I wouldn't probably do it for maps this small because there's so few tiles anyway. But for a map the size of this, it would be pretty good. Definitely something to look into more, but at the same time, it's not a huge issue. Yeah. I should probably do some benchmarking on some weaker computers and see how the game runs. It's not great, I don't think. I think it's performs worse than it should for what it is. But it's, I guess it's diminishing returns at a certain point. How long could I spend myself banging my head against this? I don't know. It's like this map's pretty big, and this will be rendered normally. You get it to 60, Yaguchi. Well, I am 60, but not when I'm streaming and running default and VS Code at the same time. So, would you expect that? I don't know. My game doesn't, but do others? You froze. That's pretty damning, isn't it? But what I was saying is that it does run at 60 FPS, but not when I'm streaming with screen capture and running default and running VS Code at the same time. To be fair, I don't think the frame rate is the issue. There's some minor hitching that seems to be an issue. My game runs at 20,000 FPS. Nice. We're seeing what the cause of that is. Do you have any inkling of when that happens? Alright, alright. I'm definitely chopping now, but that's because I'm running a million things. Oh my goodness. This will be really interesting, but Default just released an update to the other editor. That was supposed to be a joke, but I couldn't. I was stuck. Well, if it helps, I didn't actually believe you. Although, I mean, I guess that's just meaningless. If there's nothing happening, you could run it at loads, tens of thousands of FPS, I think. I don't actually know how you define that. Anyway, I'm hoping that default editor update will reduce the glitching that we've got in between tiles. That would be pretty sweet. I don't know if have I updated already, in which case I'll be bummed. No, I'm on 158. So maybe when I update to 159, all my glitchy issues will be done.
Thank you for being a true bro.
Adron Hall, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Yes, what else is new in the new default release? Yes, exactly, that's what I wanted to convey, but I couldn't. Thanks for explaining it. No worries, teamwork. Upgrades for the win. Yeah, so...
Thank you for being a true bro.
Katiz Boleds. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just spamming bit drunks. Yeah, right. See you later, Surly. Hey, Carriax. So adds the ability to get the game objects world transform as a Matrix 4. So I haven't bumped into it myself, but I've seen it a lot on the forums. So I'm happy that it's been fixed before I bumped into it. But I'm excited about this. I hope that fixes things for me. Because, well, this is the thing I was relying on. I was saying that it was floating point precision. So if this fixes it, then they've bailed me out of jail. Anything else? Engine microfreeze when playing sounds on older iOS devices. That's not relevant for me. Why was the sprite rendered far from origin even having issues? I'm just theorizing what the reason was, because sometimes when you walk in the game, there's tiny little lines in between tiles, and that's the only thing I could think of. I went to see if Default fixed my bug that I reported, and I got a 500 error on GitHub. Fixed. Nah, we're not talking matrices, Tart. The editor added the ability to remove recent projects. When the tile shows project name first, redesign views of all forms, target discovery log dialog, update UI when clicking on some nodes. Alright, well, I am interested in the floating point precision. That would be pretty cool if that fixes it. I would be a happy bunny. Maybe, I mean, I don't expect it to fix it, but if it happens less often, also a pretty happy bunny. Yeah, it was interesting looking into that. I'm not too worried about it, because if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think it will be fine regardless. Fingers crossed. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. So today we started off, what did we do? Updated some graphics, that was easy, 5 minutes. Then we implemented the witch, she's like almost completed, I just need to write a little bit of dialogue and she'll be done. And then we placed enemies in the rock desert and investigated pre-baked ground rendering to limited success. We didn't actually achieve anything other than, I guess, I learned a little bit more about what's going on. So that's still good. I encourage you to follow me here and on all these socials. That would be really appreciated. We need the likes and tweets and snaps and shares and retweets and whatever it's all called. I'm planning on streaming again tomorrow, so if you're around, I'd love to see you again. Thanks to Wetlock for the bits, and to all of you for hanging out. We're gonna raid somebody, so catch you on the other side. Have an excellent day.